Steelers fans, Coach Kevin Smith with you. It's time for another video breakdown. This one from Pittsburgh's 37-15 Sunday Night Football win over the New York Jets in Week 7 of the season. All the buzz is about the quarterback switch, Russell Wilson, the offensive side of the ball. But let's take a look at the defense here, man. Beanie Bishop, great game for that young man out of West Virginia, undrafted rookie. And we're going to look at the first of his 2 interceptions. This is going to be a video in 2 parts. Part, how did Beanie Bishop come up with this big play? And part, the impact TJ Watt makes even when you don't realize he's making an impact. All right, so let's go break this thing down. We'll run it through first, and then we'll get to our breakdown of the play. It's going to be a verticals concept, and Aaron Rodgers is going to try and fit this ball into the middle of the field. And there you see Bishop, 31. Beautiful one-handed interception. All right, one more time through as we go from the top on this thing. Right, Bishop's going to sink out of his position in the slot, try to get under receiver Garrett Wilson, and then make a great play on the ball. All right, how does this go down? All right, let's go back from the top. What are the Jets doing here? What are the Steelers doing here? The Jets are really running a 4 verticals concept. It's actually 3 verticals, I should say. They're going to run vert on the outside here to the top of the screen, up the numbers. This is Wilson, the intended target. He's going to run the bender into the middle of the field, and they're going to run vertical to the bottom of the screen as well. Pittsburgh's going to play this in a cover 2. Cover 2 shell. That means that the outside defenders, right, Joey Porter here, and this is actually Peyton Wilson all the way out here. He's locked on Breece Hall, the running back. They're going to be the flat defenders. You're going to see them start to sink with their eyes inside, and they're looking for any outbreaking route. Anything that goes to the flat, they're going to peel off and attack. Meanwhile, the safeties are going to play this thing in a too high look. And you're going to get, this is James Pierre. He's your hook curl guy. Patrick Queen, who's up here at the line, he's going to fall off and be your hook curl guy. And then this is Bishop right here. And he is responsible for anything deep down the middle of the field. So it's almost like a sort of de facto Tampa 2 look with Bishop playing the middle of the field. Now, there's one more route here in the route progression, and that's going to be Hall, the running back, running a sort of low cross. So it's 3 verticals with a seam bender, Wilson the seam bender, and then a low cross. And what's going to happen as this route develops is you're going to see Rodgers, as he takes his drop, he's going to have his eyes immediately to the seam bender, right? He's looking almost immediately right here at Wilson matched up on Bishop. It's not a man matchup, but it's Bishop carrying Wilson down the seam. And I think Rodgers likes what he sees here. He knows it's too high. He's a smart, savvy quarterback. He recognizes that the safeties are in a too high configuration and that the weakness in this particular look is that bender right down the middle. And he probably knows that Bishop is carrying this route. He can see Bishop sinking deep enough here. And I think what Rodgers likes is that Bishop is facing Wilson, and he knows that Wilson's going to go in behind him, right? He knows Wilson's going to break in behind him, and he thinks he can fit this throw in right here, okay? But obviously, Bishop is reading Wilson and does a great job right there with that hip turn. That's a beautiful job. We'll run that back from the top. Watch as Bishop gets his hips around right here. Right, just as that ball is coming out, you see Rodgers has released the throw. And Bishop is still turned, and Rodgers is hoping to fit that thing right in there in the middle of the logo. But you're going to see Bishop flip his hips, excellent job, and then make the one-handed interception. Really beautiful stuff. Now, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're being greedy here. This is definitely Aaron Rodgers being greedy, because as he's about to uncork this thing, first of all, a couple things about Aaron Rodgers. Look at his feet. His throwing platform is bad. His feet and hips are pointed here like he's going to throw the ball to Hall, who he should throw it to. We'll come back to that in a second. I mean, Aaron Rodgers 5-6 years ago, he could sling this thing in, even though his feet and hips are pointed away from his target. 5-6 years ago, he could throw that thing on a dime, but 40-year-old Rodgers can't do that anymore. The other thing is, with the Steelers sinking into this sort of deep, soft shell, I mean, take your check down route, man. It's 2nd and 5, right? Throw the ball to Breece Hall coming underneath. Rodgers gets greedy. Maybe it's a little hubris here and thinks he can fit this thing in, and he can't. All right, the other interesting thing about this play is the following. TJ Watt. TJ Watt is a scheme wrecker. So watch TJ Watt here down at the bottom of the screen. Right, here he is, and this is New York's tight end. And the Jets are going to keep the tight end in initially to chip Watt before he gets out into the progression. He's going to chip him here, and then he'll just leak out. But by the time he leaks out, Rodgers has got to get rid of the ball, and his eyes are down the field. So again, let's just run it from the top, right? Watch what the tight end does. Little chip on Watt, and now he's a little bit late, doesn't even really get out. And there's the pick. Okay, but now look at what really should be happening here. If you don't have to worry about TJ Watt, you can slide your protection, right? The tackle can slide out to Watt. All right, the guard is going to be on the tackle. The center will block back, block out. Classic five-man pass pro. And now your tight end can go down the seam. If your tight end goes down the seam, what happens? Well, Patrick Queen's got to stay with him here, and the safety who's sinking has got to stay over top of him. And while Minkah Fitzpatrick sinks here, it really opens up the middle of the field. Rodgers now has a much bigger window to throw this bender to Wilson into the middle of the field. I got the wrong guy there. Wilson's on the inside, but you get the idea, right? I mean, the window is so much bigger for Wilson or for Rodgers to throw the football in, because the tight end can get out, but the tight end can't get out. And now look what happens, right? Because the tight end can't get out, this safety can start to compress the throw. Queen can compress the throw. Wilson doesn't have the luxury of leading his receiver into that bigger window. The window is smaller because there's no vertical threat right here. And everybody can sort of compress to the trip side, and that's going to allow for the interception. So even when TJ Watt isn't making impact plays, he's impacting the play. Great job by Beanie Bishop. And of course, TJ Watt makes his presence felt, and the Steelers get a big victory on this momentum-turning play. Remember, this is right near the end of the half. Steelers trailing 15-6. They go and punch it in, changes the whole contest.